Welcome to Attleboro Update. With great local man in need of a kidney receives the gift of life, festivities for the Big Read are in full swing, and partner organization Triborough Youth Theater showed that Attleboro.
Welcome to Attleboro Update, where you can get the latest in what's going on in the Attleboro community. You can watch all of our content by visiting our website, AACS.com, by downloading the AACS mobile app, or if you have a Roku, you can search for the AACS Roku channel. Due to ongoing drought conditions, the city of Attleboro has enacted a Level 3 water ban effective August 6th. This ban limits lawn watering, pool filling, car driveway, or house washing, in addition to the use of play sprinklers and slip-and-slides. Attleboro Mayor Paul Heroux and Attleboro Police Deputy Chief Timothy Cook spoke on the issue.
My name is Paul Heroux. I'm the mayor of Attleboro, and we were at a level 2 water ban, which would allow people to water their lawns or their rose bushes or rhododendrons, fill up a pool, anytime between 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. And we had to recently increase the water ban to go to a full water ban. A full water ban, by definition, is when you can't use even handheld watering for rose bushes or rhododendrons or your lawn. Irrigation systems have been basically shut down. And so the idea is that we have to try and preserve as much water as we can because our reservoirs have been dangerously running low. It's not so much the issue of water consumption that brought us to this point, it's the lack of water that has really contributed to the pretty serious drought we're in right now. It just hasn't been raining. Previously, the city was giving people a warning if it was their first offense that they were caught, and then they would go to a $25 fine, $100 fine, and then a $200 fine for every subsequent offense. We did a mailing recently when we went up to a level 3 water ban, and the mailing basically served as the notice for everybody, and now we're in a situation where everybody has been put on notice, so we're not giving out warnings anymore. The water department doesn't have the authority to issue a fine for a civil violation, so we do have to rely on the police to go out and do that. And it's a tough job for the police because they have to be the bad guy to go and deliver a fine to somebody who's violating the water ban. Unfortunately, some people just haven't really cared about the water ban. Some people didn't know about it, and they're just not really paying attention to much of what's going on around in terms of the city governance. Many businesses are exempt. Hand watering of a vegetable garden is also exempt. Farms are also exempt. The worst case scenario is that we don't have water to put out a house fire. Worst case scenario is that when the hospital needs to use water to take care of its patients, it doesn't have it. People need to remember is that we're all in this together, and what happens to one person's yard is also happening to everyone else's.
My name is Tim Cook. I'm the Deputy Chief of Police with the Attleboro Police Department. Our elected officials have put a water restriction in place to address ongoing drought conditions that's affecting our water supply here in Attleboro. The Attleboro Police Department has been tasked with assisting in the enforcement efforts. Our ultimate goal is to gain voluntary compliance, and we have found that to a certain extent our efforts to respond to complaints of water ban violations and take the approach of educating the violator, presenting them with a copy of the ordinance and giving them a warning to cease the violation that has been mostly very successful. If a neighbor observes another neighbor violating the water ban, perhaps addressing it in a civil and neighborly fashion could certainly help curtail the problem. The best way to contact us at the police department would be through our dispatch center. Our business line is 508-222-1212. They can also find contact information through our website, www.attleboropolice.org, and they can also find contact information through the city's website. Since July, we've had approximately 135 complaints that we've responded to or that we've addressed. And out of that 135, there's been approximately 10 citations actually issued, which goes to show that we are gaining mostly voluntary compliance with the minimal number of repeat offenders. We at the Attleboro Police Department would very much like to thank the public for their cooperation and voluntary compliance in keeping our water resources safe.
Repairs for the South Attleboro Commuter Rail Station are one step closer to beginning. The design is complete and the project has received significant funding. Attleboro State Representative Jim Hawkins gave us the details.
I'm Jim Hawkins, State Rep for Attleboro, and there are some new developments for the South Attleboro Commuter Rail Station. The design was at 100% a few weeks ago, and the design is going to really change the way we use the station. It's going to move the Rhode Island Regional Transit from letting passengers off by the mobile station over to the train platform, and it's going to change Gatcher, which is the Massachusetts Regional Transit, from leaving passengers off in front of market baskets, put them over by the train platform. So what that means is that Rhode Island Regional Transit will intersect with Massachusetts Regional Transit and commuter rail. Changes to the station is going to include full-length, high-rise platforms on both sides. This means that the passengers can get on and off faster. If that saves 4 or 5 minutes at every stop, once every station along the line has that, that could cut the commuting time in half. In terms of construction, they've changed it to be modular, so that once they start putting the new station in, it can be done faster. It'll have 3 elevators, one in the parking lot, one on either side, and a glass-enclosed overpass. So it's going to really transform the way we use. And if you can see in the background, we have Amtrak go through here, so we have the catenary. We'll be one of the 2 first lines to have electric trains. So the future is kind of cool. Not only will trains only take half an hour, but once they get the electric trains, that's not soon, but once they do, trains could leave Attleboro every 15 minutes. The challenge is that the funding is done separately from the design, and the capital improvement plan was our chance to speak about that, and the people in Attleboro sent in, at least ones that I was CC'd on, sent in 60 or 70 letters supporting the change, the renovations to the station to keep this moving. I was able to get $8 million in the transportation bond bill, and I believe the governor's signing that today, which will go towards construction. I also got language in the budget, which is a separate piece of legislation that gives them until December to get funding complete. So the plan will be they're going to start tearing down this old monstrosity in the fall, partly because it's a safety problem and partly because that will expedite construction once they actually start construction. They're going to do some other preliminary work on this. This has been since 2018, when then Secretary Pollock said they had no plans to do anything about the steel overpass. And I've been campaigning non-stop to get them to do something about this station. The station was only opened in '90, and they forgot to do handicap accessibility. And they made it with the cheapest materials, and they never maintained it. So for this facility to only last 30 years is a real slap in the face to the people who live in this area. The people that did move out here, now they've got to drive into Boston, and 95 is absolutely gridlocked. There's a 350-unit development going in where Atlantic Golf used to be, just up the street, for the express purpose of using this train station. There's been economic development, and there's a lot of stores, businesses open because of this, and housing has gone crazy here. It's really made a difference for this part of the city, but it's all based on the train station being here. And MBTA will tell you that some people are working remotely, so they don't have the ridership. But what they don't realize is before COVID, this parking lot and the one downtown were both full before 7:30 in the morning. So they don't have any idea how many people really could be using the train. The other thing they don't realize, not everybody that uses the train is a white-collar worker that could work remotely from home. A lot of the people that use the train are working in the hospitals and medical facilities in Boston, and they don't have the option of working from home. So this is critical to the area. You're welcome to reach out to me if you want to follow up on the status of this. It seems to be changing every few weeks. My email address is james.hawkins@mahouse.gov.
Attleboro Mayor Paul Heroux is looking to purchase the former Locust Valley Golf Course and converting it to green space. We spoke with him to learn more.
I am looking at getting the city to purchase Locust Valley. It would be a cooperative effort with the Attleboro Land Trust and the Mass Audubon Society, and we've approached the owner, the Bork family, about this, and it's private property, so they can sell it to whoever they want, but they've been very good and very cooperative, and we're in the process of doing an appraisal, and then after we get the appraisal completed, we will then make them an offer. One of the things I want to do is try and preserve as much green space as we can in the city. And we're losing green space to development at an alarming rate. We're just it's really a bad thing for the city in terms of the number of students in our schools, in terms of the amount of water that's being used in irrigation to water lawns. That's a problem. Just the flooding that occurs because trees usually absorb a lot of the water, the rainwater, and if they're gone, then that causes flooding elsewhere. And so there are certain things that can try to be done to mitigate that, stormwater, but nothing's as good as nature itself. And with us, our society and our world looking at climate change, which is a very real thing, we really do need to preserve as many trees as we can. The way we have been developing homes needs to change. We have to look at redevelopment of properties that were previously developed rather than clear cutting entire forests. So what I'm looking at doing is hopefully acquiring this land, much like we did with Highland Country Club. We turned it into Highland Park. We wanted to prevent the development of 130 homes and preserve that natural green space. And so same thing with Locust Valley. We would like to try to prevent the development of 200 homes and try to preserve that natural space and basically dedicate it as conservation land. A lot of people who live in that neighborhood don't want to see 200 homes be built there. The amount of traffic that will bring those extra 200 homes, it's not in the best interest of our city finances, because even though homes are paying in property taxes, every time a home is built in the city, we are financially worse off. With new homes, it really does cost the city a lot of money. We always lose out when new homes are built, new single-family homes, to be clear. That's why my administration, when I started as mayor, we've been focusing on the downtown and revitalization, still providing homes for people who want to live in Attleboro, but really focusing on getting away from the single-family homes and really focusing on the apartments.
A new small business has opened up in the Attleboro downtown. Spooky Games is a family-friendly space where people can gather to learn and to play a variety of tabletop games. AACS spoke with the owners.
I'm Faith. I'm a co-owner of Spooky Games. And
I'm Tori. I'm the other co-owner of Spooky Games.
Spooky Games is a retail game and hobby store in Attleboro. We're focused on selling mostly trading card games, as well as board games and accessories. Accessories like vinyl records, keychains, plushes, things for kids and families to kind of get involved and have fun as a family.
We host a lot of Learn to Play events for friends, family, and they could be scheduled, or we have group ones on Sundays for Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. So anyone that's interested in the game can come down to Spooky Games. They can also give us a call at 802-2-SPOOKY, or if they really need to get in touch with us, they can send us a message on our Facebook page.
We're at 9 North Main Street in Attleboro.
What they're playing right now is a game called Draft. It is a really good way for people that want to learn how to play the game and build up a collection to come out, interact with other people. What they do is they all open up a pack, they take a card from it, and they pass it. And they have to build a deck using 3 packs, and then they compete for a prize. There are mostly adults and teenagers. Magic tends to attract people that are more in their early teenagers to, I've seen guys as old as 70 drafting. Magic has probably one of the largest diverse player bases that I've ever seen in any single game in general. The reaction has been a lot bigger than we realized. We opened this just to kind of get something going, and we weren't planning on having this type of growth until next year. So we're trying to quickly meet the needs of our gaming base.
It's been a little chaotic, but I think just having already like a very loyal customer group that's really eager to play the games and really excited about the store keeps us motivated and gives us the energy to keep going, and we hope we can expand and grow it out and maybe convert to doing this full time. So
we initially moved to Attleboro right before the pandemic, and we had plans to open a game store right before the pandemic happened. Afterwards, we kind of gave up on that, and we realized that Attleboro needed something to do for the kids. We ourselves game, and we used to have to travel, and we would have to decide, hey, do I get to stop home and relax a little bit, or do I have to go and leave straight from work to go and enjoy myself? So that's why we opened it here. I honestly thought that it was going to be a larger barrier to overcome, but the city has been very accommodating and willing to work with us to get us open as quickly as possible. Everyone in Town Hall has been super helpful. I could not have asked for a better location and better group of people to work with.
That's all for this week's edition of Attleboro Update. From everyone here at AACS, thank you for watching.